Dynamite! 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 Dynamite!
Yeah, got the fresh cut. He's finna drop my ears down. Hey, how you guys doing? My name's Heero. In life, you have to constantly pick and choose your battles, right? But it's important to be consistent about who you are as a person. And here on this platform, on this channel, I like to think we stand for the little person. We stand for the weak people. We stand for the people who don't get a fair shake in the broader sense of life. That's why whenever we see an injustice anywhere, as a black person, I take it personal because that's an injustice everywhere. And there's an opportunity for somebody to use that same injustice on my people. Kyle Rittenhouse has recently found himself in another debacle, right? And this debacle kind of dissolves from the course of our criminal justice system. When our criminal justice system, which has been built with a systemic slant towards colored people, when that system is constantly pushing forward the notion about how we are perceived versus how white people are perceived. Now, if a black person by the name of Daquan went and shot and killed 2 people and then mangled a third, he would be called a thug, a monster, a criminal, everything. He wouldn't be called a hero, a good Samaritan, a medic, a person of interest. Furthermore, the victims would be called saints. They would be using their graduation pictures, their holiday photos. But when Kyle does it, they use the worst versions of these people. And now they're being stripped of their victimhood. The judge in Kyle Rittenhouse's case has decided not. And this is crazy, right? What am I looking for here? The judge in Kyle Rittenhouse's case has decided not to let them use the word victim in describing the victims that Kyle Rittenhouse shot. And I just have to ask, if you can't use the word victim, then how do you know that there was then how can you convict him of murder? It's almost as if the judge has already made up his mind what he wants to decide. Thank God this is going to a jury, because we know that this judge is thinking to himself, well, I have a white son and he has guns and he should have protected himself, so why should I have to do this? This is what systemic racism looks like, right? And people will argue you down. People will say he had a justified reason. He had this, but don't worry. I always come with proof. I'm going to show you why Kyle Rittenhouse had no intention of helping anyone that night and was just out there hunting because he had a bloodlust. And that's what Kyle Rittenhouse did. He had a bloodlust. He wanted to kill someone. He wanted to show he was American. He's an outcast. He's a loser. And he's what's wrong with our country. A bunch of lonely, depressed, weak-minded, dumb white people who have no future, who have no bearings of kind of where their life is going, and they've been labeled the most dangerous people in America. These aren't my words. This came from an economic professor in New York who talks about how when men in a society are less educated, their violence and their criminal intent goes up. Kyle Rittenhouse is a dropout of high school who went into homeschool transition, and we all know that that's where the crazy kids come from. He dreamed, anytime you hear a thing about kids dreaming of being police officers or being in the military after like their superhero phase, just know that they're weirdos. They're weirdos. And then people are like, oh, my father served in the military. Hey, go fuck yourself. We're in the 21st century. Why are we fighting anybody? Nobody knows how to use their words. Go fuck yourself. But this person, Kyle Rittenhouse, was able to go out with the fringe guys that he wants to help the community. And it's so crazy when you think about it. He He had his long rifle across his shoulder with a med pack on his hip. And it's important that you remember that. My man is walking around with a long rifle, AR-15, and a medical kit. They're two opposing sides. There's a reason why when it's people from the ambulance in the hospital, there's a reason why we don't carry guns. Because it goes against our physical, mental, social, everything about us. It goes against us as a stark contradiction. I cannot be carrying a weapon while simultaneously saying I'm here to help. And that's what makes police so weird when they come up. We're here to restore peace. You brought a weapon? It's 21st century. You know how to use your words? But let's give a TLDR, right? What happened? Why are we here? For all y'all that don't know, Kyle Rittenhouse was a dude who decided to cross state lines with a weapon that he took, and this is crazy. He bought this weapon using his welfare check, his first unemployment check of $1,200. Remember when they were giving that away? So he doesn't have a job. He's literally the statistic that you would never want to have a gun, and he's doing it. He's a minor. He's not allowed to have a gun. He wasn't supposed to buy a gun. So he's committed a bunch of felonies already there. He paid someone else to buy a gun for him. That's a felony. So that's why the father and the friend are no longer talking to Kyle Rittenhouse, because if they get to have to come and testify, trust and believe they're going to sell Kyle Rittenhouse under the bus in order to avoid getting felony charges. 2, he crossed over state lines, another felony, and then use the guides of working with people and working in staff to hide in a bunch of militia groups until he got separated. And then he took an offer to be paid to watch over a bunch of dusty ass cars. And I'm here to tell you, when those people was throwing the tea into the ocean or whatever to rebel against taxes, that's an iconic moment for our country. So when people burning up a few stores, just remember, they did it first. We're just doing what our forefathers taught us to do, right? I'm over that talking point of protesters being bad. Protesters, rioters, looters, they're what our forefathers would want. A protester, a rioter, a looter, destruction of the system, destroyer of the system, that's what our forefathers wanted. That's what they came here to do. I am my father's son. You your daddy's son. Yeah. Like what? Get fucked. But I just want to let you guys know, that orange pack you see here, that's his med kit. Kyle Rittenhouse is going around saying medic, EMT, medical. He is not a medic. He is not an EMT. He has no licensures. But he wants to be so big in his small, little, insignificant life that he's willing to lie and trample on other people in order to gain some significance. And I'm going to show you how his fragility led to him shooting somebody. Because this guy, this psychopath, has no trigger discipline. He didn't identify the shooter, and he shot someone within proximity. He then fell, and upon trying to be subdued by other people who were rightfully in their right mind to subdue him because he just killed somebody and fled the scene, he then kills another person and mangles a third. And I'm just remember, and I want you to honestly hear the beginning of this story, this segment.
Rittenhouse walks away from the car dealership to offer medical help.
Does anybody need medical? Medical!
What, yesterday or today?
Today. Dude, he just had up the gun. Talking about get off the car. Now he's talking about medical.
Rosenbaum and Rittenhouse each make their way to a nearby gas station. Officers prevent Rittenhouse from returning to his original post.
I'm working down there. Who the fuck cares? He's freely during a protest. Now, and just think about this in the context of everything. He's freely walking around a protest and riot with a weapon on him. And he's not deemed the most dangerous person in the area. Officers don't immediately identify him. Officers don't immediately subdue him. His privilege is keeping him safe, and he doesn't even know it. He's oblivious to how much privilege he has.
At 11:44, police scanners report people trying to burn vehicles at another lot owned by CarSource. Dispatchers urge police to use caution.
We've seen at least 4 people with handguns running around here.
2 minutes later, Rittenhouse hurries away from the gas station holding a fire extinguisher. He slows to a walk.
And this is a person, and I just have to say this. He's going over to save cars that are insured. He's running into danger to save nothing of significance. If he was so about helping the community, he'd be with the protesters, because the person who was shot 7 times in his back definitely deserved a better chance in those cars.
Rosenbaum, walking in the same direction, begins to run towards Rittenhouse. Rosenbaum throws a plastic bag at Rittenhouse. Swartz said the bag contained items from Rosenbaum's stay at the hospital. As they're running, someone nearby fires a gun.
So that first shot you just heard, right? That's not the person who's running towards Kyle. The person who Kyle shot doesn't have a gun. Kyle just shoots at this first person he sees in front of him. And he shoots him 4 times.
4 other shots explode, and Rosenbaum falls. 3 more shots are heard. Rittenhouse runs around parked cars and looks at Rosenbaum.
Keep in mind, look at the medical bag. That's his medical bag. In that bag, he was going around saying he's a medic. Medical EMT, I'm here to help. That's his medical bag. Look at what he does. The person with no medical bag checks on the person he just shot and instinctively knows, take off your shirt, use it to stop the bleeding. Kyle Rittenhouse picks up his phone to call his friend's dad to come pick him up because he's a scared pussy. Because he's a little boy stuck in a man's body.
He calls black, according to court records, then runs away.
Keep the pressure on there, man.
Bystanders attempt to help Rosenbaum. They carry him to an SUV which transports.
And those are the real heroes. Kyle Rittenhouse is a monster. And I don't get how anybody said, he was attacked. No one attacked him there, right? No one attacked him there. The dude threw a plastic bag at him because he's walking around with a rifle inciting violence in a peaceful protest. He purposely walked through the protest. You see how he was antagonized, like what you walk around asking medical. And what did the black guy say? You talk about medical. When I was stomping on the car, you told me to get down with your gun. So which one is it? So he's there. He's an agitator. He is an agitator. But people always like to point to the second video. He was being assaulted. No, he's already killed someone. They're trying to perform a civilian arrest, a citizen's arrest at this point. Right? Right? Because, like, he's already killed somebody. So he's a criminal. He's definitely a criminal. But then people like to bring up reference to when he was running away. Someone attacked him while he was running away. What did he do? What did he do? He shot somebody. Kyle Rittenhouse fell by himself. Look again. See where his body is. See where his body is in relation to the closest person to him. That's him by himself right there. Falling. by himself. No one pushed him. No one tripped him. His unathletic, sloppy, doughy frame tripped over his own goddamn feet. And this was an ample opportunity to get him down. Because once again, he just murdered somebody. After hearing a gunshot down the street, he turned around and shot somebody 4 times. And then he falls on his fat ass, and then this.
Rittenhouse falls, and a protester hits him with a skateboard. Rittenhouse shoots the skater, Anthony Huber, fatally injuring him. Rittenhouse shoots again, wounding another protester, Gage Grosskreutz.
And once again, look at the privilege. Look at the privilege. He later went to his friend's house, then went to his mom's house, and then turned himself in. And for a whole minute, every officer there was thinking that it was a black guy who shot those people. So every black person on the street had weapons drawn on them immediately. And the judge wants you to believe that the people in that video are not victims. The judge wants you to believe that. And I say this, and I use this opportunity to say this. Systemic racism is deeply rooted. But more importantly, if you're a person, an ally on our side, you know, you're a sister, brother of the vanilla complexion, and you're on our side, 1, thanks, but 2, I hope you're prepared to become a leopard of your community, right? You will be punished. You will be punished as a vanilla sister or vanilla brother for helping your brothers in color. Because they're trying to make an example out of these white people. Now, the first dude had a history. The second dude was a scared dude. The third person was literally trying to subdue someone he just watched another person murder. Don't come out here trying to fight with us if you're not ready to become truly invested in the black experience in America. Because these 2 people died and they can't even be called victims. What do you call someone who got shot like that? What do you call them? How do you describe that to somebody? What are you going to say at their funeral? Here lies the victim of, I can't use that word. Here lies the skater boy. What do you say in the police report? How do you explain the police report? There's literally victim or suspect or eyewitness. They're not witnesses. They're definitely not the suspects. Oh, I know what you call them. The judge says it's okay to call them rioters, arsonists, looters, and protesters. He said those aren't loaded terms. Unlike victim, which is a loaded term. Now, if I had to hit you with one of those, which one do you think would invoke sympathy, empathy, a feeling of remorse? Well, if you're the judge in Kyle Rittenhouse's case, you already got the answer to that, but that's just my feelings on this. I'm interested to know what you think. Do you think Kyle Rittenhouse is a piece of trash? Trick question. Because we already know the answer to that. Tell me about how your day's going. But for everything else, you can tweet on the meantime. That's just on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, IG.
We could catch the vibes, but it's so hard to find through the daily grind. Been working overtime, and I'm sleep deprived. Shorty on my line, and we fuss and fight. Seems like every night. Don't care who's wrong or right. I hope the end is sight. Slow it down, and we can catch the vibes.